The long-awaited replication comparison to the authentic pair is now in full effect. And we're going to move forward here, look at the box first, then we'll get into the shoes after, then into the laces and so forth. But I'm going to show every angle I can so we can do a good comparison. So the left is the replication, which is pretty obvious, and the right is the authentic. The authentication, came a bit beat up. That's just kind of how it goes with these items. So that's one thing you can look for, beat up shoebox for authentication purposes at times, or to be a little suspicious, especially for a recent release such as this. Here's the replicated box label, as you can see here. Pretty close to what it needs to be very honest. Um, there's definitely going to be a difference, I'm sure, with the UPC code to the left, and it's a different number on the authentic here. They did replicate everything else on the actual replication pair of the box label correctly. They did, but of course, retail labels a bit clearer, cleaner, and more crisp. So let's move forward to the rear of the replication, and again, not in the greatest shape. That's how it came. The chrome lettering there in the top right. Excuse me, a little bit hard to read, not as sharp, not as clean. But yeah, that's just, again, that's the way it is with this stuff. Here's the authentic we're looking at now. Cleaner, of course, better condition, chrome lettering, a little bit more legible. But we don't need to dig too deep into what the words say and all that because we pretty much know how that goes. Here is the indentation of the Jumpman. Yep, as I'm pointing there. And we're going to go ahead and show the other Boz logos, which is Nike to the right, Converse to the left. So Converse, Jumpman, Nike. Makes perfect sense to me. Here is the authentic night and day difference. Beautiful embossment of the Jumpman there in the center. You see how clean that Nike is to the right and the Converse to the left. Very, very nice. So major, major difference, no question. Moving along here. Let's go ahead and see how things look inside the box. Let's open these flaps up. Now, one thing I noticed, because I got a few of these replications, and there's always this weird like line from top to bottom for some reason. I guess that's how they glued the top together there, the lid, I should say. And comparing it to the authentic here, which obviously is going to be cleaner. There's obviously no weird indentation from top to bottom. It's just all smooth. So that was definitely constructed differently between them. Now, replication inside, you got the MANIERE paper with the Y.W.Y.W.S sticker there on the rear, and the burgundy towel, which we will compare with the authentic later as well. So, a MANIERE paper in this replication. And now we're going to go ahead and have a look at the authentic pair and see if that's the way it's supposed to be. Let's go ahead and open it up. And no MANIERE paper whatsoever. It's just your regular white internal tissue paper. So that's another way to authenticate this, guys. There we go. As you can see, nothing major going on here. It's just your regular white internal tissue paper with the burgundy towel, of course. And now moving forward, meat and potatoes. Let's get to it. Authentic to the left, replication to the right. Let's look at the toes. And obviously you can see the replication to the right is a little bit overscaled on the suede cut there. It's a bit taller. The slope looks like they got right. Again, the shape of these together looks close. Close. The tumbled leather looks close too. However, you can see on the authentic to the left, it's a lot of a thicker leather, tumbled leather, versus to the right, it's a lot more of like a hollow leather. And as you see there as well, the upper burgundy, the authentic is a lighter burgundy, and the replication is a darker burgundy. It's night and day. Check it out. Night and day in between them. Look at that. Different colors, no doubt. Again, yeah, look at that. So, excuse me, by itself, it's hard to authenticate this stuff, but that's why I recommend always having an authentic with you to definitely see the differences. Now, On the replication, they did the quilted pattern as well on the internal sock liner. However, it's a little bit more flat on the replication. It's not as thick padding. Also, the stitching is definitely wrong in respect to the color of the stitching and how tight the stitching is to make that quilted pattern pop out. Definitely pops out a lot stronger on the authentic pair. And that's just what it is, but definitely here, definite color difference on the tone going all the way down to just above the toe box. And we're going to go ahead and have a look at the rears now in a few more seconds. Going to look at that Nike Air and elephant print cut. Not elephant print cut, the rear suede cut. I'm so used to elephant print on the threes at this point. But yeah, night and day on the color, guys. Night and day. And it's not because the light's bright or anything like that and you're seeing more. No, it's a lot more of a richer color on the replication to the right. Again, looking at the toe boxes, they're a little different in the respect to the leather. It's poofier and thicker on the authentic versus the rep, which is a bit more hollow, thinner leather. That's pretty much night and day as well as far as how it feels and even looks. So here we go, having a look here. Authentic to the right, replication to the left. And you see the Nike Air is a bit too white on the replication on the left versus a little bit of a sail color on the authentic to the right. Both Airs look good. Looking at the outsoles, uh, pretty much spot on the replication to the left, except the color tone is lighter. You can see how much the dark burgundy is on the upper toe and how much lighter it is on the rest of the midsole. This is why for authentication, you got to have the shoe, in my opinion. You got to have the authentic shoe. Very difficult to authenticate these things by themselves. Here we are with the other shoe now. So pretty much what we called out on the other pair of shoes we looked at, we're going to see the same thing here. This time authentic is on the right, reps on the left. You see the color difference again from the tone going down to the toe box. Look at that thicker leather to the right of the authentic versus a little bit thinner on the rep. So here we go. I'm pressing in. Left replication, a lot more hollow leather versus the authentic, a lot more thicker. Again, we're going to look at the quilted, excuse me, stitched pattern, the sock liner. We already went over that. The authentic is going to be a little bit, it is thicker padded. Rep is thinner. Again, same thing about the stitching. The replication to the left stitching is a little bit incorrect, not as tight, therefore not allowing a more puffier quilted pronounced uh, piece there. So we're kind of already ahead of the game here. And as we keep looking at this here, I was just studying the sock liners a little bit more there, see if there was anything else I could look at. Here we go with the toes again. Again, reps on the left, better suede height for sure. Now I know I didn't mess with the transition of the suede on both of these. They're both transitional. The reps are transitional. And here we go, air unit. Check it out. Replication has 3 posts in the air unit, right? Which technically is typical of the Jordan brand authentic. But for MANIERE, it's actually only 2 posts on the size 12, which I thought was interesting. And it goes the same for the white Jordan 3 MANIERE pair, the first collab as well. Very interesting. I've never understood that, but hey, is what it is. I'll be fair, the color of the midsole, they do have correct. It is. It's correct. Could be a hair lighter, but we're really scrutinizing the replication at that point. But it's correct. Paneling does honestly look almost correct. It's overscaled. That's why it looks a little bit wider in some spots of it, but it's right there. The Nike sail color on the outsole of the rep is a little darker. We're going to look at the rears again. Authentic left, rep right. Same thing. Nike Air is white on the rep when it should be just a hair of a sail color. Now you're seeing that a lot more on here because of the 4K video that I'm filming. By itself, it literally looks white. It literally looks white by itself, that Nike Air on the authentic. Again, there we go, pressing in. to the leather, and same thing hollow on the rep, thicker on the authentic. And I'm going to be honest, this replication is a scammable bear, so you have to be very careful out there. I assure you, it is scammable on its own. Here we're going to look at the Nike hang tags. The replication is to the left, authentic is to the right. Now the replication is obviously like a different color. It's like a dark grayish kind of. It's not that burgundy color. The air looks to be, the letters air looks to be a little bit smaller on the rep than it does to the authentic to the right. And also the Nike with the swoosh on the left has a little dot under the K and not on the right for the authentic, of course. Then we're going to have a look at the rear here of both. And like I said, replication to the left is like a dark gray. And the authentic to the right is a burgundy, is the correct burgundy color. And now we're going to go ahead and get into the insoles in a few seconds to compare them. So authentic right, replication left. If you couldn't tell, you're about to tell in a few seconds here. So the A's are much more legible and pronounced on the authentic, as you see here. You can see the A's there, right? So now when I bring up the rep, it's there because you know it's there, but it's not as legible. You can't really see it that well, but they are there. But definitely more pronounced on the authentic, no doubt. And replication on the left, outer of the insole is the correct color. It's more of a sail color. Interesting how they do this stuff. Now here in the replication, while you were sleeping, obviously there, pay attention, it's a bold text on there, okay? While you were sleeping is in bold. We're going to have a look at the inside of the pull tab here, which is do something about it, right? Again, it's bold. You can tell it's a bold text. And we're going to have a look at the authentic here now. While you were sleeping is not bold in the footpad. This is a great authentication technique. It is not bold whatsoever while you were sleeping. And then having a look under the pull tab here, it is not bold as well. Just do something about it. So that's another thing you can look into to authenticate this item. And moving forward, here is the replicated towel. This could probably pass, to be honest. It's just a rag, a towel. And it could be of lesser quality on this replicated version of the towel, but materials such as this isn't usually that difficult to pretty much replicate because it's just cloth material, not hard to get. You know, they don't have to hunt for it like that. And again, this is the replication of the internal tower or dust rag, if you want to say that it comes with. And moving forward here, we're going to have a look at the authentic towel, which is, see, about the same. Yeah, it looks to be better quality, no doubt, because concerning looking right at it, you can see there that it's just a better, higher quality, straight, stronger material. Now looking at the laces here, replication is at the top, authentic at the bottom. They did match that. So it's going to be hard to authenticate with the laces alone. As you can see, colors match. And we are here to the end of the video, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Hopefully you learned something from this. Hopefully this, allows you to be careful out there and pay attention to what you get. And with that, we out.